kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
A tense and stressful race last week at the Auto Club Speedway gives way to a nice, hopefully rather straightforward race here in Joliet, Illinois. It is the Chicagoland Speedway, home of round number 5 for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me tonight, my broadcast partner, first time in a long time that I've been able to say that, Liam Ervig. Liam, you guys are back from Homestead. Well, most of you are back anyway. Some of you guys are still having trouble getting home. Thank you very much for joining us here on such short notice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be here. When I heard there was an Xfinity race coming at Chicago, I knew I had to be here. These guys are in for an absolute treat. This is one of the most abrasive surfaces on the circuit. Compared to last week, it's going to be pretty bad on the tires. But like you mentioned, last week was super tense for Bryce Senesac to come home, get that race win. And fuel mileage races are always interesting, but we had ourselves a blast last week.
They absolutely are. And with that, you mentioned Bryce Senesac. Let's take a look at the point standings. Senesac still out in front in the points, only 3 points clear of Mike Rominger. He did mention during his post-race interview last week that this is going to be kind of a part-time deal for him. But right now, that part-time deal hasn't started off all that bad, being in the points lead, race win, locked into the playoffs if he makes the minimum race requirement. Alex Reeling, Michael Thwaites, and Paul Irvin also up there. But again, these points are still close thanks to this being early in the season.
Definitely a super close points battle between Senesac and Rominger. You said 3 points, I believe, separate those guys. They both got to win. Both 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s. These guys are both starting off the season about as strong as you can. And they're starting to get a little bit of a gap over Beckner, 35 points.
And those gaps, of course, will spread out a little bit as the season goes on. But right now we are in the middle of the qualifying session. Here is the number 9 of Colby Collins coming down to complete his final lap of qualifying. Good enough for 7th quickest. Mike Rominger of the drivers that have gone already the fastest with a 30.53, a little bit more than a 10th quicker than everybody else, as Logan Koger goes slightly quicker than Jacob Jensen, puts him on the outside of the front row. Solid qualifying effort for him, only to be quickly beaten by Michael Thwaites. So David Killough in the number 38. He did attempt to qualify, but he hit the wall on both laps. So he will not have a valid qualifying lap put in this session. Here comes Paul Irving. Only Ed Morris Sr. and Austin Karp have not qualified after Paul Irving sets off for his lap. So 19 drivers set to take the field here, set to take the grid for the 100 laps here at Chicagoland Speedway. There was a little bit of a mistake, a little bit of a miscue, which happens when setting up the session. Tonight's race was planned to be 143 laps. It is instead going to be 100, which now pushes that stage break up to lap 33. So it's going to be a little bit shorter runs for these drivers here tonight to try to make up the ground that they need in order to get those playoff points, Liam.
Race means you're not going to have as much time to get out there and make some of these moves. It might bring the aggression level up on the initial start of the race, especially on the restarts. It's 43 laps is a considerable amount of time to change your strategy. So these guys might have to do a little bit of calling it on the fly, throw a little bit of an audible out there in terms of what they're going to do in their pit strategy and their stage strategy. I would assume that with 30-lap stage, you're probably not going to try to split it. But who knows, with the way the fuel mileage went last week.
Exactly. As Paul Irving looked like he got really loose going through turns 1 and 2 there on his first lap. 14th quickest at a 31.03 on lap number 1, all the way down to the grass. On lap number 2, he will go to P2, a 30.59. A great pickup there from Paul Irvin.
Just 5 100s off of the pole sitter for now, Mike Rominger. Austin Karp, he's going to come out here and see if he can try to steal away that pole spot in the number 19 machine.
Only
ready to take the green flag.
Only Ed Morris Sr., the last driver to not attempt to qualify. Ed Morris Sr. with a nice top 5 finish last week at Auto Club, working his pit and fuel strategy to perfection, as Karp getting right up next to that wall. And one thing you'll remember about this racetrack is I believe it's going back on the NASCAR calendar next year. Around goes the 19. Wow, he saved it.
Sure, we're back at Chicagoland next year for.
I thought I heard that NASCAR was going back to Chicago next year. I know they're going to the street course next year. I thought maybe, 2025 maybe they were considering bringing this racetrack back. But anyway, no back straightaway technically. This place is really one big circle, just the variance of the of that circle, the radius of that circle, pinches and widens out around the racetrack.
Yeah, it definitely makes it interesting. You can try to straighten out the back straightaway. It'll kind of look like you're coming down off the wall, but a lot of these guys will stay right up next to it just to try to arc their corner as best as they possibly can, getting down into 3 and 4. See a little bit of a higher line, trying to get that momentum up. As lap number 2 starts for Austin Karp, he's got about a minute left to get it done, plenty of time. We'll see if he can make an improvement on this lap number 2.
And because Karp did not cross the start-finish line on his last run, he does get this one lap here. Never officially took the white flag until right then when he crossed the line, so he's going to need to really push it. Unfortunately for him, it's been the second lap that has been the go lap for most of these drivers here tonight. First and only lap for Karp. Will he unseat Mike Rominger for the pole? No, he will not.
Jumps up to 4th.
Valiant effort, certainly.
Was within a 10th of Rominger, though. I got to say, after only having one lap, cooking the tires like he did with that big slide, that's pretty impressive out of the 19 machine.
Absolutely. So the 19 will certainly be one to watch for here tonight. As qualifying now over for Mike Rominger, it will be a pole for that number 4. And as I go back through my my stuff here, I believe it will be his first pole. So that's 5 different pole winners and 5 qualifying attempts. And with that, we'll take a look at the starting grid here for tonight's race. Mike Rominger with a time of 30.536. There's the dyslexia kicking in. We'll start on pole here tonight. Paul Irvin on the outside of row number 1. Michael Thwaites and Austin Karp in row 2. Logan Koger and Jacob Jensen will make up row number 3, with Rob Haynes and Davey Hendricks sitting in row number 4. Ed Morris and Kobe Collins in row 5. Alex Reeling and Ted Pullen in row 6. Michael Robinson and Justin Lemke, row 7. Josh Wren and Dustin Carroll will make up row 8, with Gary Wells and David Calo in row number 9. Ed Morris Sr. will round out the field in row number 10, P19. Weather conditions here for tonight's race. We are just about at 3:15 p.m. in sim time. 69-degree ambient temperature, 72-degree track temperature. So it is certainly a nice, cool day for these drivers. They're not going to have to worry about the slipping and sliding that they usually have to worry about here with a track temperature that's down in the 70s.
Track temperature is definitely a big concern for these guys, and talked about it a little bit during qualifying. This is an abrasive track surface. It was built in 2001, I believe, was the NASCAR debut here. They have not put a new coat of asphalt on it since. So lower temperature, a little bit of cloud cover. That's going to make it easier on these tires a bit, but still going to be a tough task. These guys in for a show.
Absolutely. As we're just about ready to roll off to start this race, if you're wondering, if you're a fan of Nicholas Caldwell, the number 34, he has been suspended for one race and penalized 50 points. Apparently there was some post-race retaliation last week at Auto Club Speedway that we had missed. The admins of the series did not, so Caldwell receiving a one-race ban and a 50-point hit for that retaliation last week at Auto Club, which is why we have 19 drivers here. Actually, we have 20. Keith Walton in the 69 car came in during the qualifying session and will make it a 20-car field. He'll start from pit road.
Well, Frank, just about half a lap before we take the green flag, and we've had 4 different winners in 4 different races. Obviously, Bryce Senesac last week in the Thriller. Mike Rominger, he sits on the pole. He's going to try to be the first repeat winner. Travis Beckner in the 27 also got the job done. Alan Elwood the other winner, the only one who's not in the top 3 in points.
Absolutely. As we are getting set to go 100 laps here from the Chicagoland Speedway. Leaders into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. 100 laps. We are racing at Chicago.
Even at the start, a little bit of a stronger push up top for the 19.
Harp giving Paul Irvin a big push, and around goes the 25. That's Logan Koger. Off
down to the inside.
Yep, off in the grass, out of the racing line, no caution. We stay green as Paul Irvin gets to that inside line through 3 and 4. 3 wide for second.
3 wide indeed. Paul Irvin liking that view in his mirror.
Absolutely is. I believe that's the 9 of Cody Collins going sideways, and he somehow manages to save it. Well,
Irvin had a line coming up off of 2 there.
Boy, so much for these cars being a little bit more straightforward, not losing it. They're all over the place right now. Michael Thwaites to the point. Austin Karp second. Irvin third. Rominger fourth. Looking to that outside. Trying to take the spot. You see that's Rob Haynes in the 99. Sliding through 1 and 2. The 1, I believe, that's Alex Reeling in that Appalachian State Ford Mustang. Getting into the fence.
And we're seeing a lot of aggression here early on. You see how much wheel movement there is as we're on board. A little bit of wall contact. I believe that was Jensen just in front of Relling here.
It was.
Gets up into the wall coming up off of turn number 4. Doesn't lose a whole heck of a lot of momentum. Now he's stuck up on the high side. Here's the thing I think about the high side. It's going to be quick when you start, as that was the close moment.
Close enough for you?
I think the high line's going to be quick on fresh tires, but it's going to loosen you up so much at the beginning of this race. We've got 20 drivers with 100 laps to try to widen this groove out, so we'll see how that factors in at the end. But for right now, I foresee that top side just destroying these tires, as if I couldn't talk about tires enough.
Austin Karp out to the race lead, getting past Michael Thwaites. And we
Rominger
saw
touched the wall a little bit coming up off of 2. It gives Irvin the chance to get to the bottom side.
We saw how quick Karp was in his 1 lap in qualifying. Very easily could have gotten pole with that pace on lap 2 as Rominger trying to fight Paul Irvin for that 3rd spot. Rob Hayes still there as well in the 99. Look a little bit further back. 2 packs, 2 very distinct packs have formed up here. We've got about the top 8 running up at the front of the field, and then from 9th on back, being led by Ted Pullen in the 15. Here is the 2nd pack as these guys try to fight back up towards the leaders, about 1 second the gap.
Ted Pullen, he's a driver we're watching right now. He's 11th in points, 3 behind the top 10 right now of Ed Morris Sr. He's hoping to have a good run, make up a couple more spots, try to keep working his way up in that points battle. At 15, he's looking pretty good. Now we look back a little bit further as we've got a side-by-side battle for the to be the 12th position. Josh Wren looks to the inside of Dustin Carroll. Nothing doing there. The 35 of Lemke tries to move up to the top side. He's going to have momentum, but he goes the long way around. Is he going to be able to stay there into turn number 1? Looks like he barely does. Now he's going to get that run coming up off of 2.
Josh Wren got pretty loose coming off of turn 2 a lap ago. That allowed Dustin Carroll to get to the outside in the 92. So look back up towards the front here, just about 3 wide. Rominger still side by side with Paul Irving. Rob Hayes had to back out of there as we're already just about a third of the way through this stage.
10 laps complete. Get about 5-10 laps more on these tires. You're really going to see who's been going easy on their stuff to start with and who's been pushing it from the get-go. It looks like Austin Karp is kind of pushing hard out front, but clean air is your best friend at a track like this. So maybe he's got a a little bit more downforce to keep those tires from doing all the work. So there's a slow moment for the 69 car. Keith Walton going a lap down, stays up out of the way.
Yeah, remember, Keith Walton did not qualify, came in between the qualifying and the gridding for this race, started the race from pit lane. So Keith Walton a little bit slow off the jump here tonight as Paul Irvin continues now. He has lost the spot pretty fair-handedly to Mike Rominger, now loses the spot to Rob Haynes and is battling with Alex Reeling in the 1, trying to stay in the top 5.
Reeling in the 1, he's another driver who's up here in points. He's 4th place right now, trying to get a couple extra. What a moment there! Trying to get a couple extra spots, but just as we went on board with Jacob Jensen, he had a big-time sideways moment. Man, these guys are pretty much putting butter on toast right now. It's just sliding.
It's tense. It's not fun. It's tense. You look back on it after and say, man, that was a lot of fun really trying to wring the neck of this car and get it around here. But I'll tell you, when you're doing it, it's stressful. It's not fun. It's stressful.
But Jensen a little bit loose, comes up, touches the door of Urban. Both guys get away, but what a moment. These guys are proving me wrong. It looks like the bottom side is getting you a little bit looser as now you see Relling having to give up a spot potentially here. He had a moment coming up off of turn number 4. I think it'll be easier to talk about who's not having moments throughout the course of this race. These guys are on edge every single lap from the drop of the green flag, and that's the extreme racing you get here.
I see what you did there. Paul Irvin and Jacob Jensen getting extremely close to that outside wall in turn 2. Relling goes right back up to the top. Ed Morris, again, just hanging off of the back of this lead pack, which he's been doing pretty much since the start of this race. So Morris plus 1 spot from where he started. As battle a little bit further back, that's Justin Lemke trying to make the outside line work. Looking to the high side of Davey Hendricks, who's driving, I believe that's the same Grimace car that, which one was it? Was it Wallace or Reddick drove this weekend?
Bubba Wallace's car. Drove it up to a top 5 finish, I believe. But either way, it looked really good on the track. Both of those McDonald's cars did. But right now, these guys on the racetrack getting it done, looking pretty good, as now we've got Carroll down to the inside of Ted Pullen. Dustin Carroll unable to, well, look at this, they're both, these guys are racing each other. They're trying to figure out who's going to throttle up first. That was an obvious statement, I know, but they're trying to figure out who's going to throttle up first, who's going to slide up, who's going to come down. These guys are playing chess with each other as they're looking at each other through these corners at 165 miles an hour.
Well, I know what you meant. There's racing each other, and then there's racing each other. And these guys are doing the latter for sure. As back up front, Rob Haynes now has everything he can handle with and more with Paul Irvin, and Paul Irvin has everything he can handle and more with his own car.
Rob Haynes rocking that number 99 Toyota Supra. It's looking strong.
Oof.
Up 3 spots from where he started as we got a little bit of contact with Jennings and Jensen and Urban there. Paul Urban, however, he's not having the start that he's wanted. He's about to go back a 4th position. We are past halfway in stage number 2. Or 1, sorry, stage 1. Sorry, we were getting P2 and the caution has come out.
Looks like Keith Walton may have gone. Yep, there he is, off track. So the caution
from race control, and you're going to review that.
So the caution comes out, pretty much breaks up this stage in half. So we'll see what happened with Keith Walton. Oh, got spun.
Ooh.
Looked like. Let's pull it back a little bit further. Maybe not that far.
We know he was a bit slower. He obviously didn't have practice or qualifying time, so he was kind of utilizing stage 1 as a bit of practice time. That's always tough because you don't get really more than one chance.
Came off the wall, 39 of Robinson had nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's a tough deal. Just a couple of cars coming together. Massive speed difference. Looks like top two are going to stay out. Third on back. Comes into the pits.
Yeah, most of the field deciding to come in. Ted Pullen stays out. Davey Hendricks stays out. Kobe Collins looks like he's decided to stay out as well. See if they're fuel only, because we have seen that before. Seeing right side. Yep, no, right sides are going up.
I was going to bring that up. These guys still have 5 sets of tires for this race. So if you average that out, you can go about 18 laps on each set.
Had a couple of fuel onlys there as Alex Rilling gets out of pit road first. Same thing with Gary Wells. Michael Robinson looked like he went fuel only. Justin Lemke going fuel only. But that will leave Austin Karp, Michael Thwaites, Ted Pullen, Davey Hendricks, and Kobe Collins. The 5 that stayed out, Keith Walton, will not get his lap back because he was the reason for the caution.
Race control has deemed the car number 69 at fault, so he's going to get an EOL.
As if he wasn't going to have an EOL to begin with, being off of the lead lap.
Austin Karp, he's got a tough task in front of him.
It certainly does.
17 or so green flag laps on his tires. Meanwhile, 6th place, Alex Relling is going to have freshies. Well, he might have taken fuel over. Made a couple spots up. But
These drivers do have, if I remember correctly, these drivers do have the ability to pick their lanes on the restart. A full choose cone, not just the leader like we see some leagues do. The first car on fresh tires is going to be Mike Rominger, who's back in 8th. Theoretically, he would be on the outside of row 4. However, if that is the case where the full choose cone is in effect, he may not be. So I believe we're at 2 to go here, which will leave us with about 12 laps of racing before we hit the stage.
yeah, should be a nice little shootout here. Some guys on fresh tires, some guys on 2 tires, some guys on no tires. Only about roughly 10 or so laps to get it figured out.
So here we go.
If they can even make it.
Yeah,
If
true.
they can even make it to the end of the stage. These guys are absolutely incredibly talented drivers. We've seen them on edge all race long. But with all of these situations, different strategies going on from the first place all the way back to 10th. We're in for a show here, Frank, and we're only on lap number 21.
Good to know I was right. It is a full choose cone.
Yes, sir.
As Rominger, instead of lining up P4 on the outside lane, he's going to choose to line up P6 on the outside lane. So net losing some spots is the number 4, which means now the furthest driver up with fresh tires is the 99 of Rob Haynes, who by deploying this strategy, if I remember correctly from last week, who deploying this strategy, the same strategy, won the stage last week.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Something else I want to bring up is Davey Hendricks in the 11. We haven't seen him up front a whole lot. He's up 6 spots from where he started. He elected to be the first car on the inside line, so it'll be interesting to see what these guys have going for him on this first the first restart of the race.
Absolutely. Pace car coming off. Green flag about to be shown. We will have 11 laps of racing before the end of stage 1. Great start for Karp.
Good start for Davey Hendricks there, too. He's able to take away second place in a commanding fashion. Relling trying to follow through in that one machine. He's got a bit of a run. Look at him swerving down the back straightaway, though, as they are side by side for almost every position you can imagine outside of the top 3.
Yeah, Robinson had a big moment coming off of turn 2. As now Koger gets into the left rear corner. of that 39. Coker moving up a couple spots. He's back up into the top 10.
And Logan Coger, a guy who's fallen back a little bit from his initial starting spot. Looking forward to making some of these passes. But look at Rob Haynes, all the way up to third place, trying to take second away from Hendricks. He's got a clear tire advantage, and he's going to get down to the bottom to try to take away the race lead from Austin Karp. Gets a bit sideways coming through turns 3 and 4, but overall that grip level is going to keep him side by side. He should have this pass complete by the time they get through turn 1.
Karp led the lap, but he will not lead it for long as Rob Haynes looks for his second stage win of the year, his second consecutive stage win. As a matter of fact, and on fresh tires out in front of the field, he's in the best position to do it. Another driver on fresh tires, now trying to find that fresh air, is the man sitting on the inside, Jacob Jensen, in the number 64, trying to clear Austin Karp.
Similar situation, but this time Karp has a little bit of drafting help from Hendricks up in the top lane. Nothing doing. Jensen just gets that grip down in turn 1. He's able to just fly on by. So I believe, are we racing to lap 30 or 30?
33. As Logan Coger sliding up into the top 5. Coger, remember, he had a big moment on lap 1 that put him way at the back. Now getting a chance to race, albeit with fresher tires, but now Coger showing the pace in that number 25. Paul Irvin trying to slide up through the middle in the 48.
Forget that Paul Irvin was up in this top 5 battle. So for Coger to be going up against a guy like Irvin, who's also on fresher rubber, it's got to feel good. Didn't have the start that he wanted, but he got the chance to get back on equal tires. Now he's enjoying himself a third-place running position. He tries to chase down Jacob Jensen and Rob Haynes for second and first, respectively.
Of the drivers that did not pit during the stage, Cody Collins and Ted Pullen are out of the points for the stage. Currently, Michael Thwaites running in 10th is the last driver to get stage points. Davey Hendricks is running in 9th. Austin Karp running in 8th now as he gets passed by the 92 of Dustin Carroll. This is telling everybody, take tires.
Yeah, I think that pretty much settles the deal. If it's this long, I don't know if it's worth the risk. It may be on a green-white checker because Karp got himself away with a really good gap. And he was able to hold on and lead that second lap, only by a hair, but Vin Diesel, Dom Toretto once said it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, win and swing. So I say keep that in the back pocket. For a green-white checker, I got worried by Alex. Austin Karp wiggle there.
David Colo getting into the stage points now with that pass on Michael Thwaites as he now looks to try to take that spot away from Austin Karp.
Really hear how those tires are working on these older rubber drivers.
Absolutely.
You ride on board especially.
As now Colo jumps up into the 9th spot, looking to take 7th away from Davey Hendricks. That would be 3 stage points for the number 38. As drivers still looking for stage points a little bit further forward. That is the 48 of Paul Irvin, the 7 of Ed Morris. Mike Rominger's fallen back to 6th, and Dustin Carroll just at the back of that group.
Davey Hendricks, Austin Karp, the only drivers on old tires in the top 10 still eligible or still on track to receive stage points. Josh Wren and Alex Relling, they both came into pit, but they may have taken fuel only. They're not seeming to be able to gain much ground on the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, Relling took fuel only, Wells took fuel only, Justin Lemke took fuel only, as did Michael Robinson. Currently running at the back of this field. As we are 2 laps to go until the end of the stage, and Rob Haynes at the moment has a half a second lead over Jacob Jensen. Logan Coger about 0.7 of a second or so behind Jensen, as Ed Morris trying to look to the inside of Paul Irvin. for fourth.
Looks up a nice run coming up off the corner. We'll see if that top side momentum coming up off of turn number 4 is going to be strong enough for Urban. Looks like he's almost able to keep his bumper there. Tell you what, that's going to be a tough ask to stay with him into turns 1 and 2. He's still there. He's at the door.
Big
Little
wiggle
bit of a
there
slide
from
at the 7.
Rominger with a slide entering the corner, able to get that straightened out as Morris still to the inside of Paul Irvin, but coming through 3 and 4, ripping the top line. Rob Haynes won the stage from pole last week at Auto Club. He will win the stage break here at Chicagoland. Second stage win in a row for Haynes, and the second driver to win multiple stages this season.
And what a strategy call he made there. He was the first guy to come out on fresh tires. When the choose code came his way, he elected to jump down to the inside, worked his way all the way up to 5th on the starting grid. Then once that green flag came out, it was work.
Absolutely. So now drivers will decide if they want to pit again. Rob Haynes, your stage winner here at Chicagoland, round number 5 of the XMS Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech. We'll take a break and be right back. You are watching round number 5 action here on SRM.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Green flag about to come out here at Chicagoland Speedway, round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech. Week off next week for Halloween, then we're back at it at Sonoma in 2 weeks' time. But first, we got to get through the second half of this race. Rob Haynes in control, green flag back in the air.
What a start out of the 99 up on the top side. Rob Haynes gets away from Logan Koger. Amazingly, Jacob Jensen going to try to follow suit up on that top side and bring Paul Irvin with them. So far, that outside lane seems to be where you want to be. Thought that Koger was going to try to clear himself there, but luckily for him, he didn't. Looks like the 38 made him scrape the wall in the back there. Now we're almost 3 wide for second place.
David Colo back there, you're right, catching that wall a little bit as Koger, Morris, Carroll all going down to that to the yellow line, down to the grass as Koger holding on to that inside line, drifting up, but it's going to be Jensen for the moment holding on to the spot.
Koger jumps up in front of Irvin there. Now Irvin down to the inside of Koger. Irvin dives it in. Koger fights hard, and we've got a car on the inside wall. That's Michael Thwaites.
Thwaites getting into the inside wall. We believe Keith Walton may have been a part of this as well, as there's Walton in the 67. Let's take a look and see what happened between these two. As Walton, this is a separate incident. Walton gets loose off of 4. And then here's what's going to happen with Thwaites. He's be coming off of 2. The 36 gets loose, and Thwaites gets loose on his own. Hard into that wall on the inside.
Bumper piece falls off. That's going to be a hefty repair job. And he was close to the top 10 in points there. Might have gotten himself a stage point, but not going to be able to capitalize on the positions he gained earlier on. Michael Thwaites.
And that's not a safer barrier either down there, much like the outside wall in the back stretch is not a safer barrier either. As Mike Rominger, who stands to gain the points lead tonight with Bryce Senesac not here, looking to the inside of Paul Irvin for third. Ed Morris also looking up on that outside, number 7, trying to get to the high side of Koger, and around goes the 11 of Hendricks.
Man, that was tough.
I think that was Austin Karp who helped him around. It's Davey Hendricks making his second race of the year. Let's take a look and see. That's the 19 of Karp behind him. Drifts up. I think he let off the gas to not hit Ed Morris.
That's exactly what happened there. He let up off of the gas, seeing the 07 sideways in front of him.
Let's take a listen. Yep. Saw Morris get loose, led off to not hit him, and the 19 didn't see it. Take a look on board of Karp here. Just nothing.
Nothing he can do. Yeah. Michael Thwaites is officially our first DNF of the day. Damage seems to be too heavy. He's disconnected from the race.
David Colo, Ted Pullen, Josh Wren, Ed Morris Sr., and Davey Hendricks naturally coming down pit road here.
Yeah, a lot of guys towards the back of the field. I can't imagine that any of the front runners were going to come in this time. Only 1 or 2 laps on this rubber. I know these guys are sliding a lot. A couple of laps. You don't want to use up a set of tires quite yet.
Absolutely not. As through the next month here of the XMS Xfinity Series, only one race, as mentioned last week, Halloween, next week, Halloween. That's what I meant. So no race next Tuesday night. Then the Tuesday after that, November 7th, will be round number 6 at Sonoma. Be 40 laps there. Then after that will be a non-point, non-broadcasted money race, a 50-50 race on November 14th. That'll be the second of 3 50-50 races this season. And then after that is Thanksgiving week. So just one race in the next 4 weeks. That is 4 points that will be broadcasted.
Right, can't you sign up for those 50-50 races?
I believe you can, yes, by going to xmsracing.com. You can sign up at the top of the screen, xmsracing.com.
Well, I tell you what, if I'm not up in here with you, I might have to go for that. Split the pot 50-50.
Oh, no, those are not.
Real good to me.
Yeah, those 50-50 races are not broadcasted, so go for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you might be on the track with me.
I believe it's a $10 buy-in, I believe. I'm not sure.
You guys are watching xmsracing.net?
.com.
xmsracing.com.
The third of those 50-50 races will be on December 19th, so the Thursday before Christmas. So we have Sonoma in 2 weeks, Indianapolis at the end of next month, Darlington, Kansas, then the 50-50 race, then the Christmas holiday, and we won't be back to racing after that until January 2nd, which will be in Talladega, of all the places to come back to after a couple weeks off.
What a better way to ring in the new year. Rob Haynes is trying to ring in this race win, though, as he's sitting here on the top side, elects the outside once again. Jacob Jensen goes down to his inside. Paul Urban also chose the inside. Mike Rominger up on the top side to be effectively fourth place.
What a better way to ring in the new year than to get everybody mad at you for your inability to hold the line.
Or for not being quick enough on the brakes.
Very true. There's a lot of reasons to get mad at Talladega. Awkward push, not getting on the brakes. There's enough.
I could write a book with reasons I've got mad at people. I'm sure about 80% of it is just me being mad at the situation and not anybody's fault.
Absolutely. It's usually how it is, especially around Talladega and Daytona. And as we get set to go back racing, Liam, why don't you take us away here this time?
Oh, we got Rob Haynes. He chose the outside. He's been the restart king so far today. We'll see if he can get the job done here again. Jacob Jennings poses a different challenge, but isn't able to stick with him on this restart. Once again, Haynes out by a couple of car lengths. They get side by side for second place with Mike Rominger up to the top of the racetrack. 99 is ripping the fence here on this first lap. That's going to give Jacob Jensen the chance to get to the inside. Rominger losing a ton of positions, though, side by side for the lead. Almost 3 wide for fifth. Now Koger looks down to the inside of Carp. Doesn't quite get the nose down in there, but he is close. Trying to loosen that 19 up, get him out of the way just a little bit.
And Koger getting a very nice run coming out of turn 2 and down the back. Now he goes from the outside to the inside to the outside. As Koger to the outside of Mike Rominger trying to get back into the top 5.
Koger big loose up on the top side of Rominger there. They almost made contact. I wouldn't be surprised if Koger scraped the wall coming up off of the corner, but now we're 3 wide just behind him. 5 cars under a blanket getting down into turns 3 and 4. We see Dustin Carroll trying to get to the inside of Ed Morris. There's more 3 wide action behind him.
There absolutely is. That's the 11 of Hendricks trying to catch back up. As up here at the front, side by side, Jacob Jensen and Rob Haynes going side by side for the race lead. We saw with Haynes running the outside line at the end of that stage. Jensen running the bottom. That 64 was really starting to catch up on that bottom line. So Jensen's found something on the bottom line of this racetrack that Haynes either hasn't found or just isn't comfortable with, as Haynes leads the halfway lap.
This 99 machine has been super strong on the top side, but we haven't really seen him venture anywhere else. He's been restarting up on the top side. He's been running there all race, and he's getting a great run coming up off of the corner. Is it going to be enough? Jacob Jensen seems to be the only guy who's been able to get side by side with Rob Haynes and really make him work for it. These guys kind of work through the field together. Now they both run 1-2. Austin Karp just behind him, though. He led a lot of laps early. He's looking to try to get this race lead back.
Absolutely did. As one Toyota leading 6 Chevrolets. As Jensen, Karp, Irvin, Rominger, Koger, and Morris all try to chase down Rob Haynes for this race lead. And after a rather wild and frantic start there, Liam, we're starting to chill out here and single file out.
We certainly are. We know this is going to be a longer stage, and the only cautions that are going to come are going to be more than likely due to cause. Nobody wants to be a part of a caution for cause, so really got to try to focus on getting this green flag run done. But you talk about one Toyota in front of 6 Chevys. That's gonna feel like Rudolph leading the rest of the leading the rest of the reindeer who bullied him for so long that first time. Doesn't quite feel comfortable, but still rather be in front of him than anywhere else.
Not used to seeing Toyotas, so many of them at least in one session. We got 5 in here tonight. Naturally, Chevrolet holds the lead as far as the makes here in most of these leagues that we run, but it's a shame that these Toyotas don't get run more often because the very stable cars, again, I keep saying it and people keep calling me crazy as Jensen slides his way into the race lead.
And Karp's going to jump down to the bottom, try to make it a 3-wide battle.
Boy, and that's a very risky proposition, especially with Karp blinking the way he is. So Jensen finally gets past Rob Hayes and can't breathe because now he's got Karp below him. But
not only is that, but he's not able to run the line that he's been running to be so fast to pass that 99 because the 19 got below him. Now he's up in uncharted territory from where his car's been running quick.
Absolutely. And to finish my thought from a second ago, everyone calls me crazy, but these cars are built to run equally, and they are. The handling, though, on each of the makes is different. The Toyota is a little bit freer. The Ford tends to have better fuel mileage, and the Toyota tends to be a mixture of both. A good handling car with decent fuel mileage, not as good as the Ford, so I'm surprised that the Toyotas don't get used all that much.
Tell you what, Frank, the Toyota is my favorite car to drive. I like most of the schemes that come out at first up. But I don't know. I think it's cool that you can drive a Supra in NASCAR first.
Absolutely, yeah.
Foremost. The car drives great. I think most of the Xfinity wins that I've gotten in officials have come from the Toyota Supra. I think it's a strong car. I think it's a fantastic car, and I think you can get the job done. And obviously, the popular teams, I think, drive Chevys, though, such as Junior Motorsports, RCR. People generally gravitate towards Chevys for that. Sorry.
No, you're good. The battle here is the one of Rilling gets into the fence. Battle you're seeing here from the 48 on back, make it the 99 on back, is 3rd to 10th.
Koger's getting side with Beckner.
Koger in that 25 on the high line. Battling with Mike Rominger below him. Davey Hendricks, who's trying to recover from getting spun out earlier on. Running up in the 7th position, Ed Morris there. Dustin Carroll, Alex Rilling in the 1 at the back of this group. That's Gary Wells in the TikTok number 33, or that looks like TikTok at least. Nope, I'm going to take that back. It is not. In the number 33 is closing up on this front group as well. Wells up 6 spots from where he started. He's the biggest mover of the race thus far.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of comers and goers throughout the course of this race. Right now, Rob Haynes looks to be one of the goers as he's now getting involved in a 3-way battle. Davey Hendricks gets down to the bottom of the Paul Urban machine. Just, not quite there. Close enough to side draft. But what I was going to bring up earlier before I so rudely interrupted you, that 25 car, he's getting sideways up on the top. He's really good at taking kind of a middle to outside entry, cutting the car in the middle, getting down on the door of the inside car, and using up all of their racetracks so that they have to let off. I've been noticing him do that a lot. Sometimes it's not quite on purpose. He gets a little bit looser than he might want to in turns 1 and 2, but that has been fascinating to watch when Logan Koger's been on the screen. Trying back there.
Koger just about got into the left rear quarter of Rob Haynes there coming off a turn 2. He's going to make the pass now as Davey Hendricks. Now, this is not just raw pace, sorry to say, for Davey Hendricks in the number 11. Hendricks does have a tire advantage on these drivers. The benefit of being spun out on lap 43 is now on lap 62 after he came down pit road, got 4 fresh tires, fuel, and some damage repair. He has an 11-lap tire advantage on everybody else around him right now, which is explaining the pace of that 11 car.
Yeah, it's not entirely raw pace, but he's been quick. He's been working his way up towards the front. He hasn't been one of the front runners all day, but, you know, he was up in the top 5, top 10 when he got spun out. So, good recovery day. The 11 of Davey Hendricks right now. Up 5 spots. And tied for a second biggest mover of the day. But
Alex really looking to the inside of the 92 of Dustin Carroll, now looking to the inside of Rob Haynes, who has really drifted away since the start of this stage. He was out in front, dominating, won the stage, and now starting to drift back as Reeling looking for that 8th position on Haynes. Ted Pullen is in this battle as well in the number 15 as Pullen's gotten around Gary Wells, looking 3 wide now going into turn 3 is the 15.
He's pulling down to the bottom, trying to take advantage of 3 cars here in 1 lap. Now he gets down to the bottom side of Rob Haynes, goes all the way down next to the grass, can't get him to the line. Oh, he got loose coming back up out of the transition. That's going to allow Carroll to get back up to the outside. Carroll working that middle line, trying to stay just a bit lower than the 99 in front of him to get clean air to the front end of that machine. But that 99, we've talked about it falling like a rock. He's going to have to try to figure something else out. Maybe that outside lane, a little bit too much out of his tires early on in this run.
I said it with Tony, and I said it with Zach Woods as well. You get 1 pun per race, and you used it on the extreme racing scene in the Extreme Racing League. You don't get 2. As I heard the pull into the inside for the number 15. So there's a strike already.
Well, the 1 is in the wall at 2. And now they're 3 high.
Absolutely. As pulling in the middle lane there. Rob Haynes about to fall out of the top 10 here. Reeling, while he has had a couple of bumps to the wall in that number 1 tonight as we ride on board with him here, he's still keeping that car right up in the top 10.
He is, and he's not afraid to get up and run the high line. Obviously not sitting right up next to the fence like you see a Kyle Larson do. But, well, just as I say that, he gets up there.
See the white on the front of the right front fender of that black and yellow Appalachian State number 1 car. That is one of the telltale signs that he has been in the wall tonight. How much he's having to play with the throttle to keep it there. Didn't need much telltale for that. You saw him get right into that outside wall.
He didn't let off after he hit it. Just kept going. Little rear quarter ding. Doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. He's got that run coming up on Ted Pullen now. See where he takes it. Looks up to the top side, down the front straightaway. Big momentum.
He's getting the outside line to work. That multi-groove racing here in iRacing and making it work to full use as Ted Pullen gets loose coming out of turn 2. He's going to lose the spot to Reeling in the 1. Now side by side with Wells, or just about side by side with Wells. to try to stay in the top 10. It looks like he's going to come in. He is pulling into the pits.
I was just getting ready. Oh, he's going to miss the pit entrance. That's going to be a black flag for an illegal pit entrance. That's unfortunate for Ted Pullen. He's followed by Justin Lemke, but I was just getting ready to say, when are these guys going to come into pit? Got 40 laps to go. 35 puts you dead center from the stage. Or actually, it puts you dead center from that last restart. What are we going to see from these leaders in terms of pit stops?
Yeah, 35 was the end of the stage. Paul Irvin coming in, Dustin Carroll coming in, David Collot, Josh Wren deciding to pull it into pit road. These guys can make it from here, as it looks like Austin Karp might be coming in as well.
Yeah, you run that low down the back straightaway, you're telling somebody something.
Yeah, it's been the telltale that I'm going into the pits, I think, since NASCAR Thunder 2002. Cars get that low down the back straightaway. Yep, I'm coming in. Same thing with Logan Koger, Gary Wells, Michael Robinson, Kobe Collins all coming in. That leaves Davey Hendricks with the race lead.
A guy like Austin Karp right now, this is the money stop. You're doing the undercut. Davey Hendricks, he's chased you down a bit. Jacob Jensen, he's fallen back from Davey Hendricks. Hendricks, he's going to follow suit. 10-lap fresher tires. He's going to come in, though, and play that card immediately. Try not to let...
I was just about to say, he could use that advantage that he has, less the tire advantage and more the fuel advantage, to go an extra 6, 7, 8 laps if he wanted to. Decides not to. Goes back to the same strategy as Austin Karp, and that will leave Jacob Jensen out in front. Ed Morris, Mike Rominger, your top three.
I would have to say, hitting on lap 35, might be able to make it to about 85 to 90. If you wanted to push it, wanted to hope for a caution, I think that's about how far you could push it. I can't imagine anybody's able to make it to the end.
Davey Hendricks.
At least without the green flag pit stop. Karp can make it.
I think Davey Hendricks may have had a connection issue because he is not showing up as being on the racetrack anymore.
Oh, no. He was running second place before coming into the pits. He got around Jacob Jensen, who now comes into the pits. That is a tough break.
So
Hendricks, car number 11.
Mike Rominger, Rob Haynes, and Ed Morris Sr. are the four drivers that have not come into pit. Ed Morris Sr. in the 5, here he is. Again, played this pit strategy well to finish in the top 5 at Auto Club last week. He came in on lap 44.
Coming in as well.
So the top 3, Haynes coming in too. So that will leave Ed Morris Sr. out in the lead. Again, he came in on lap 44, so he's got fuel and tires on these guys. That will cycle Paul Irvin in the 48 out to the lead. 24 laps to go when we cross the line here at Chicagoland Speedway. We'll be back to the finish when we return.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
"21 laps to go here from the Chicagoland Speedway, round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech. Season as Ed Morris Sr. will surrender the race lead, the official race lead, and that will now hand it over to Paul Irvin as he crosses the line with 20 laps to go and has 1 second between himself and the 19 of Austin Karp.
Neither one of these drivers have won yet this season. Austin Karp, he's putting together a strong showing right now. These guys pitted 1 lap apart. I didn't even think about Irvin as he came in 1 lap before, pulled the undercut, and now holds on to the race lead by just under a second. But Austin Karp is putting in the work to chase him down. He is running the bottom side of this racetrack, using up as little as he can. Really, really try to chase this man down.
Paul Irvin, winner of the opening stage of the season back at Daytona, also led the most laps at Daytona, finished second at New Hampshire. So that 48 has seen some success this season. Austin Karp, on the other hand, does not have a top 3 finish, does not have a stage win, does not have a pole, does not have the most laps led. Karp, you could say, on his best run of the season.
I think you could say that again. He's led likely the most laps here today.
If it's not
Sitting
him,
in
it's the
P2.
99.
Yeah, that's true. The 99 did lead a lot, but
It's one or the other.
well, the 19, he's got a shot.
Yeah,
He's about half a second back. He's been a 10th quicker every lap. That 1 lap difference in tires seems to be making quite the difference. Last time around, it was 2/10 difference in favor of Austin Karp.
There you see it on the screen. 10th, 10th and a half, 2/10. So that 19 is closing in. Logan Koger currently running in 3rd place right now. He is almost 4 seconds behind the top 2. Jacob Jensen closing in there. Then it's another 3 seconds before you get to this trio. This is Ed Morris, Mike Rominger, and Gary Wells, 5th, 6th, and 7th. David Calo and Justin Lemke running in 8th and 9th, the further second off. 2 seconds back from them, Michael Robinson and Josh Wren. This is 10th and 11th, so this field pretty well spread out as Liam, we're set for a battle for the lead.
Yeah, battle for the lead really heating up. It's just about a 10th and a half difference between 1st and 2nd. Austin Karp has been phenomenal all day. Looks down to the bottom, tries to get a little bit of clean air. We'll see how well Irvin can play the dirty air game in front of the 19. And it seems like once he's gotten to about that 10th range, doesn't quite have the lane to go with. Now he dives down to the inside, side by side for the race lead. 48 has to relinquish a little bit of space down on the bottom, try to utilize that outside momentum. He's going to hold on to the race lead for now, but not by much. Just a couple of feet at the line between the front and rear bumper of these two machines.
Paul Irvin led the opening lap of this race. Austin Karp took it away, led the most laps in the stage. As Karp
run off it too.
Yep,
Tries to do a little bit of blocking.
Not quite there, as Karp goes to the inside of Irvin. Irvin again bleeding out to the outside, trying to get the momentum. Doesn't have him cleared, but it will be Karp that leads the lap.
Oh, it's contact. What a slide.
Oh!
And there contact. Around goes the 48. No, he's going to save it.
Wow, what a
Car
shot.
straight through, coming through turns 1 and 2, but both cars sideways. The 48 almost goes entirely around. Fantastic car control out of both of these guys, and I tell you what, that tire slide is exactly what a guy like Koger wanted to see, who's now within 3 seconds of your race leader and closing in.
What a shot Paul Irvin gave to Austin Karp going into turn 1. Not intentional, just the let-off points being a little bit different. Here's the run coming off the corner.
Watch how close these guys are in terms of bumpers as the 19 comes up the transition.
Ooh.
I thought that was going to be the contact, but he just never laid off that bumper. Both guys get sideways. The 48 with a massive save. He probably got 45 degrees of rotation there.
Incredible. As here's now a battle for second as Koger and Jensen go for it.
Jacob Jensen has, it seemed to be Austin Karp's kryptonite all night. Same with the 99. He was the only one who was able to truly race him until the tires fell off on that 99. Now Jacob Jensen moves himself into second place. 2.5 seconds separate Karp from Jensen, and that gap is closing down massively. Jensen has 3 laps fresher tires than Karp does, but you've got to wonder, did Karp use up or cook up those tires when he had to save it from that slide?
Yeah, that was going to be what I was going to say, that Karp may have really hurt those tires after the slide, as Paul Irvin has not been able to catch back up to Jensen nor Koger since that incident happened, and is now fighting to try to stay in fourth with Mike Rominger. As Rominger looks to the inside, he's going to take the spot P4 to number 4.
Yeah, that Paul Irvin machine just does not look comfortable. With the gap up front, 2.2 seconds last time around. Jacob Jensen only half a tenth quicker than Austin Karp in the race lead.
There you see it. That lap 88, that was the lap of the incident between Karp and Irvin. See what it is this time.
And 3 and 4.
He's going to need to catch him a lot more than half a tenth. A little bit more than that, but still not nearly enough if he wants to take down the number 19 tonight, as Jensen is, though, getting away from Koger.
He definitely is driving away from Koger. He seems to be quicker than Karp, but tell you what, with 8 laps to go, coming to 7 laps to go, this is a huge gap to overcome. You've got to put on the afterburners and give him everything you've got here. And looks like he is, as you see the wheel movement from this camera angle. That was a lot of wheel movement from that left front tire there. Jacob Jensen ends up losing a little bit of time there. And, well, I don't think it's a secret. Why?
Koger and Rominger now battling for third.
Koger hard into the wall.
4-wheel slide into the wall for Logan Koger. This could move Mike Rominger up into a podium spot, and it will. That was one of the harder hits to the outside wall we've seen tonight, and Koger really knocked it down.
That'd be one that I'm about in the car. That'd be one that I'm kind of shaking the car out, seeing how it feels down the straightaway, and maybe gingerly going into turn 3 and 4 the next time. That was a pretty hefty hit there for that 25 machine, but it seems like he's able to continue on. So far, so good.
Just about got it again, as now Ed Morris and Paul Irvin just behind there. Irvin losing another spot down to 6th. Ed Morris into the top 5. Austin Karp, his lead is staying firm right around 2.2 seconds. As Jensen might have to start looking less in front and more behind, because Rominger is coming with a purpose. Was 0.2 quicker than Jensen last time around.
Rominger has the freshest tires in the session right now. He pitted on lap number 75 compared to even 74 for Jacob Jensen. Jensen, looking in that rearview mirror, might be getting a little bit concerned, knowing that that gap in front of him isn't changing, knowing how much it's shrinking behind him. We're setting up for a fantastic battle for second here with 4 laps to go. Justin Karp just has to try to keep his wheels under him and enjoy the show behind him.
We absolutely are. Your stage winner, Rob Haynes, down in 8th position. He is no contest for this finish as we come down to 3 laps to go. Austin Karp in front, running nearly identical lap times to the second place runner, Jacob Jensen. Mike Rominger certainly closing the gap. It's down within 2/10.
Rominger is going to be aggressive here. He knows he doesn't have much time, less than 5 miles to go at this point. He's got to take it as soon as he can, and this might be the advantage as the 64 slides up just a bit. Not enough for the 4 to take advantage of that move, though. Now through 3 and 4. Once again, Rominger tries to get right next to the white line, trying that Harvick line in the number 4. Got a nice toe. Nice momentum coming up off of turn number 4. 2 laps to go for second place. 2.5 seconds in front of these guys as your race leader, Austin Karp. Down to the inside comes the 4 of Mike Rominger.
Yep, Rominger to that inside line, trying to get the run. Not quite enough coming off of turn 2. Still just with him.
Then at 3 and 4, he gets a bit of space on entry. That outside line isn't quite as strong for the 64 as it was earlier on in the day. Momentum stays with the 4 as he's got about half a car length crossing for the white flag. Austin Karp leads this duo by about 2.6 seconds. He's cruising on to his first race win of the year. Now Rominger, a big slide out of Jensen. That's going to give Rominger second. And Austin Karp just has 2 quarters to go.
Yep, coming through 3 and 4, uncontested. Austin Karp has had one of the fastest cars all night. He will win round number 5 here at Chicagoland.
A dominant run by Austin Karp. Didn't get the first stage win due to some strategy being played, where Haynes was able to take advantage. He led a lot of laps today. I'd have to say more than likely the most laps led. We'll have to wait for stats on that. But
if you're a fan of parity, 5 different pole winners in 5 different races, 5 different race winners in 5 different races. This is turning out to be one heck of a season already. And again, we're just 5 races into this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but looking at the point standings and stats going into this
race, it should be Rominger coming out with the overall points lead.
Yes, but I believe we haven't had. We definitely haven't had somebody win the pole and win the same race, but I don't think we've had. I don't think there's any common number names on the pole list and the race win list. Senesac, Rominger, Beckner, and Elwood are all race winners, and now Karp. Pole winners for this season were. Now I might be incorrect on that. The stats aren't showing up quite the right way, but
we're going to try and see here if we can find some of these drivers here, as I believe we have our race winner. Liam, you are with Austin Karp. Oh, I thought we had him.
I was in the wrong one.
Oh, here we go. Let's see now. Let's try it again. Liam, you should be with Austin now.
Yeah, Austin Karp come away with the win here. What a dominating performance. You and that number 19 machine. Talk us through your day. It didn't come easy. You had to work through the traffic a lot in the beginning portion.
Austin, you there? Oh, his mic is out. Okay, so that's unfortunate. We'll try to get a word with Austin before next week's race, but right now I guess I'll take it with Mike Rominger. Mike, you got a copy on us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So second place finish here tonight, not all that bad. Should put you back in the points lead. Seemed like a very up and down race for a lot of guys here tonight.
Yeah, people would come and go. I mean, it's a hot, slick track, so yeah, everybody's going to slip and slide and burn their stuff up.
Talk us through trying to chase down Paul Irvin, Logan Koger, Jacob Jensen on that last run. I'm sure you were pushing hard, trying to save those tires at the same time, though.
Yeah, the car actually felt pretty good on that run because there wasn't a lot of heavy traffic. I mean, not like the restarts anyway. The car was pretty neutral to me, and I could save some tires and run quick laps.
We're off next week for Halloween. We head to Sonoma next week. What are your thoughts going into the first road course of the season?
Well, I'm not a very good road course racer, so I'm just going to try to survive that one.
All right. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys, everybody behind the scenes that do so much for the league. Ricmotech for sponsoring, Primetime, all my teammates, and yeah, we'll see what we can do next time.
All right. Your second place finisher tonight, Mike Rominger. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you, guys.
And now, Liam, we will head over to you with Jacob Jensen.
Yeah, Jacob.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, Jacob, it's Liam and Frank up at the booth. You got a copy?
I guess no
Jacob.
one
Jacob Jensen, it's Liam and Frank up in the booth. You got a copy? Looks like he's working with his mic. So.
Yeah, I guess no one wants to talk to Liam tonight, I guess is kind of what it is. It's the second time here. Well, we'll give Jacob another second here to try to figure out what's going on. But boy, tonight, Liam, what a night, what a race. We saw that it was again about 43 laps shorter than it was meant to be here tonight, but certainly that only added to the excitement with less laps to get the job done.
Yeah, it absolutely did. These guys only had 30 laps in the first stage. That's a sprint race for these guys. There's not even a pit stop. It's, we saw a lot of aggression early on, but we saw a lot of good, clean racing. A lot of hard racing, but good, clean racing. I believe only 2 cautions came out for cause. And that is something to be said about these drivers racing at such a tough track. We heard from our second place finisher, Mr. Rominger, talking about how that happens at a hot, slick track. And I think the big story of the day was comers and goers. Another thing that he mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, yeah, I think we were given a treat here today. These guys got long green flag runs. Were able to make strategies work.
It certainly was an entertaining night here. Let's try this one more time. Jacob, you there? Jacob Jensen, are you there? Now, I have a feeling we're not going to be able to. Well, one interview is better than none, I guess, to this point. So right now we'll take a look at the finishing results here for tonight's race. Austin Karp, Mike Rominger, Jacob Jensen, your top 3. Ed Morris and Paul Irvin round out the top 5. Logan Koger, Gary Wells, Rob Haynes, David Kilo, and Justin Lemke rounding out the top 10. Michael Robinson, Josh Wren, Ed Morris Sr., Kobe Collins, and Dustin Carroll to 15th. Alex Reeling, Ted Pullen, Davey Hendricks, Keith Walton, and our only retirements because of an incident here tonight, Michael Thwaites, rounding out your finishing order. Well, that will do it for us here tonight. For my broadcast partner, Liam Ervig, I'm Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you in 2 weeks' time in Sonoma, California at the Sonoma Raceway. Until then, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.